The doom and gloom of the COVID-19 pandemic, when it seemed there was only bad news, Brent Lindque continued to inspire many and raise hope with his podcast, The Good News, or rather The Good Things Guy. Brent Lindque is a young South African whose belief in the power of positivity created a movement for good. His decision to turn a frivolous internet drinking game nomination into the random act of kindness movement changed his life, he says. Today he is the founder of Good Things Guy. It's a blog that has developed into a portal for feel-good stories that inspire hope. Brent Lindeque joins us now on our video line to tell us more about how he developed into the Good Things Guy. And it's such a pleasure to have you on the show this morning, Brent. We've absolutely been looking forward to speak to you. And I think that the work that you do is more important now than ever before.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I have the best job in South Africa. I get to be engulfed every day in the best of the best news, and I get to tell stories of ordinary South Africans doing extraordinary things, and it hopefully gives us a little bit of hope during this time. Like you said, we need it now more than ever. South Africa and the world is finding ourselves in a very traumatic space. And a little bit of relief from that is welcomed.
Absolutely. In fact, a little relief from that is actively sought after by, people around the world and South Africans as well. And your portal has seen, we understand, an exponential increase in people visiting that.
Yeah, so on average, before COVID-19, we were getting about 1.5 million readers a month that would come through and read our good news, the Good Things Guy. And since the start of the lockdown, that number has just increased every single day, every single week. And now we're sitting on about 2.2 million readers that are coming through, 2.2 million articles that are being read every month. And it's tantamount to South Africans are in desperate need of good news. And I've been put into the lucky position where we've built the site over 6 years. So we've been there and we've been able to create it so it's there for people now.
Looking at that little placard in the background there behind you, believe there is good in the world, be the good. Just a wonderful sentiment. And it's not that this is a job that you do. I can just see from talking to you, this is who you are. Give us some background to how who you are morphed into Good Things Guy.
Yeah, I think going back to the beginning, obviously my parents are and were incredible people. My mom is still alive and she's here, and she's actually, today we're celebrating that she's COVID-19 free. She's 2 weeks and she's now in the recovery phase, which is fantastic. I lost my father almost 10 years ago to malaria, but that's where it comes from. The essence is my family and the morals and values and how they've brought me up. If you ask about the website, a couple of years ago, I think it was almost 6 years ago, there was something happening in the world called neck nominations, which was a really silly drinking game. Everybody was posting videos of themselves drinking and doing silly things online and nominating people to outdo what they'd done. And I decided when it hit South Africa that instead of drinking, I would try to do a random act of kindness. And I fed a homeless person. I recorded it. I put it up online. It was the first YouTube video that I'd ever uploaded. And the very next day, that video had hundreds and thousands of views. And I landed up on mainstream media sites like you guys, CNN, Sky News, BBC. It was all over the place. It was really a surreal experience. But I think what it ignited within me is that there are good people doing good things, and there's not enough places to get these stories. And that's really how the site was born. It was this idea to share one good news story with South Africa and the world. And it quickly just snowballed into this bigger thing than me. And it's now the biggest good news site in South Africa. We've got journalists that work for Good Things Guy, and we are sharing up to 15 good news stories from South Africa to the world every single day.
Wow, that is you're actually giving me goosebumps sitting in studio. That's incredible work, and again, such incredible work given the situation we're in at the moment. All you need to do is scroll through Twitter just to see the kind of horror that is coming out of our poor communities in South Africa. You talked about your mom now being in the recovery phase of COVID-19, and we're very happy to hear that. Congratulations to your family. Many others not making it through the virus, many people losing loved ones. We know people who have either lost loved ones if we ourselves have not lost loved ones. And that kind of emotional and mental toll that it takes, you didn't escape that either.
No, and I've been very honest. A lot of people think that because I have this role as the good things guy, that I always need to be positive and I always need to be happy, and my job is to share good news. And a lot of people put me into this box. It's almost like watching a soap opera character and thinking that they're one-dimensional and that's all who they are. I am 100% human, and I've been badly affected by the mental state of what this has done to South Africa and the world. At the beginning of lockdown, we became a conduit for so many South Africans that were just hungry, that weren't getting the food parcels, that were looking for help. And that took a huge toll on me. I was not dealing with the idea that the responsibility fell on my shoulders. But somehow the universe connected me with Food Forward South Africa, with Operation Hunger, with Ladles of Love, and we were able to get people the help that they so desperately needed. And at the same time, our readers were throwing money at the different organizations and charities to help during this time. So it was just... It's been a roller coaster for everybody, and I think if we acknowledge that everybody's going through a trauma, where they say we're in the same storm in different boats, but I think we're all in a different storm because we're all dealing with really different challenges during this time. But we are all in a trauma, and we are all in this together. So if we keep remembering to be kinder to each other, and to just be a little bit more aware that there are people that are dealing with huge challenges over this time, we will get through this together. We rise by lifting each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're saying is actually feeding into my next question, because what I want to ask you is for some advice, and I'll take this advice as well, and for our viewers as well, on how we can, as that frame behind you says, how we can believe there is good in the world. And I think what you're talking about now, and what that frame actually says, be the good, that's the start of seeing other good in the world, by you yourself getting up and being a part of being that good.
Maybe like the governments are making mistakes, or how their neighbors not doing anything, or this idea of other than, or like society. But we must remember we are society, and we are the people that are creating this society. So I think during this time, be the good. So you need to play your part. And I know that's difficult. A lot of people don't have money. A lot of people have been put on half salaries or no salaries. So sometimes it's not just about giving money. It could be just about being a little kinder to everybody around you. If you do have a spare 10 Rand, remember that to get to those big amounts where charities are talking about raising millions of rands, there are hundreds and thousands of people that have just offered that 10 Rand into the pot to make it a little bit bigger. And that's how we make a difference, is everybody doing this together. With regards to mental wellness, which I think is hugely important during this time, we don't quite understand what this is going to be like in a couple of years to come, when we get over the pandemic, and when we start dealing with lockdown and being removed away from our families and losing loved ones, and the loss of normalcy, and the idea of being afraid of the unknown. There's all these other things that are playing. It's quite complex. But I think it's vitally important as well for us to practice self-care. So I've seen it now on social media, how strangers are just so aggressive and nasty to other strangers. So I think mental wellness is a huge thing we need to look after, and that's self-care. And if you can look after yourself, and if you can fulfill yourself, have a cup of tea, read a book, phone your mom, have a nap, play PlayStation. I don't know. Do something that makes your heart happy. You'll be able to help someone else through this as well by just practicing a little self-care.
Absolutely right. Brent Lindeque, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for the incredibly important work that you and the rest of your team at Good Things Guy continues to do. And I think some good advice for all of us there. If you're feeling particularly run down, mentally exhausted from the strain of living through a pandemic, losing a loved one, losing your job, and the various other challenges that come with COVID-19, perhaps a good idea, just take some time for yourself. Start by being a little kinder to yourself, to others, and if you can, log on to Good Things Guy, get your good news fix.